And welcome back, everyone. We are live with another tournament with the Kashynical Open Cup number 3 run by Kashim and CynicalDeath themselves. I'm, of course, your host, ZvP. Wait, hold on. Oh no! That's not quite, oh my god. Hold on. Things are breaking a little bit. There we go. I'm your host, ZvP, and with me later on, Kuro will be joining me, as you can see here, just below me, the casters for this tournament. Unfortunately, Kuro at the moment is handling social media. She's tweeting on Twitter, she's on Facebook, Instagram, she's posting for StarCraft esports as the tournament is getting underway and posting about all the other language streams. But once she is done, she'll be joining me here in the cast. But until then, we already have a series, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have the Indian Zerg player. He is red, representing Alpha X. It is Demi. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have someone who I'm not too familiar with. I'm going to assume the German Protoss player. He's orange, representing Team Hasu. It is MindelVK. It's been a while since I've casted a player from Team Hasu. A fun fact, they were once, or they still are, a big amateur team. They were pretty prolific in the Alpha Team League back when that was a thing. Unfortunately, it's that is no longer a thing. It did end a couple of months ago, earlier this year, so feels bad, man. But they have plenty of players remaining, and they are still here in this tournament. But he has a bit of a titan ahead of him. Of course, here on this channel, we are very fond and very familiar with Demi. He is the best player in all of India, one of the best players in all of Southeast Asia. But we're here on the European server, and I think that's something that I should add. Something that I should mention is that here in the land of Australia, it is 3 goddamn AM. Oh god, give me strength, people, give me strength. It's 3 AM, so there's a reason why here on the CranKy Ducklings we don't usually cover European events. It's just not at the best time for us, to be honest. But here we are, and Demi's also from our own region, so it's not at the best time for him, and he will be playing at a pretty major ping disadvantage. He's going to be using a VPN to try and mitigate that, but he will be playing with 250 or around 250 ping, which is less than ideal. But he's going to be here, and he's going to be trying his best. Ooh, meanwhile, when it comes to the openers, I should have mentioned it, but of course Demi did go for the gold base as his natural. I have to wonder if that's just because of his opponent. I have seen him do this before, I believe against Beastork in our very own GPO, so it's a very cheeky kind of opener. And quickly checking MindelVK, okay, he has scouted this, he did confirm this earlier with his worker, so he is well aware of the gold base. He has been unable to really punish it yet, but oh my god, the madman, he is not opening up with the Stargate. He is going for the Glaive Adepts instead. I kind of like this. This is going to hit hard, this is going to hit fast, and due to the nature of Glaive Adepts, he's going to try and pull apart Demi. Demi does not have creep connecting that gold base to his main. Like, his bases are so far apart, so it will be very difficult for him to be at multiple places at once and defend his mineral lines. So he's got to really respect this. He's got to make sure he splits up his army, and at the moment he doesn't really know what's coming his way. I say he doesn't really know. Shout out to CynicalDeath in the chat. He's letting us know that MindelVK is in fact Russian. Thank you so much. I'm sure CynicalDeath is out there and updating that Wikipedia page with all that lovely information. Massive shout out to CynicalDeath and as well as Kashim, as again they are really the best when it comes to updating and being a part of that Wikipedia community that we have going on. Oh boy. But of course, Demi, he's going to have an idea about what MindelVK is doing, just because even though he hasn't scouted the production, he knows that there's no Void Ray. He knows that it's not a Stargate opening at least, so he knows that he has to focus on a ground army. Problem is that it's already moving out. Ooh, but there's a nice scout here. It does go over the Ling, so Demi is well aware of the War Prism coming across the map. He already has a couple of Queens in position. We do have to see the Lings and Roaches on the way as well. The Roach Warren just finished up, and even though we see them warping in, ooh, actually the Queen's up not to try and focus down that War Prism. Not yet. He's just waiting for the Adepts. Once they do show up, again, there's still plenty here. He has to be careful. The drones are forced off the line, and a couple of them are going down, but only 2 so far. So pretty good defense so far by Demi. These are acceptable losses so far, but that Adept count is getting higher and higher. Behind this, of course, it was a 6-gate Glaive Adept, not a 4-gate, so this is much more committed. There's just so much more going on here when it comes to how many Adepts there are, and this can snowball. At the same time, this has to deal damage, otherwise MindelVK is going to be in a very rough position. We do see the Adepts do not come into the shade, into the natural base, but we have a War Prism in the main. Sure, there's one Queen, and sure, the Spore is being repositioned, but the DPS is not high enough. The Warp In will finish up. Meanwhile, the Adepts kind of rotate around. They hit the mineral line once again, and oh my god, the Roaches and Lings! Puppy, please respond! Oh no! They were left idle here. Finally, they do respond, and they will pounce on the Adepts, but not before losing 7 of those workers at the same time. Looks like the Adepts in the main base were dealt with. They were forced away, so at least Demi was able to deal with that, but he still lost a decent amount of workers. Meanwhile, oh my... Okay. I was so concerned that the Warp Prism was sniped. No, the Warp Prism is still alive. Because of that, Mindel, he can continue to apply that pressure and keep Demi on the back foot, and he has realized that he cannot end the game. He did deal some economic damage, and he's ahead in the workers, which is great. The problem is that we have a gold base. So Demi, he more than makes up when it comes to the economy. We can see that it did spike in favor of MindelVK, the resources that is, but now it is coming back in favor of Demi now that he has stabilized. We do see that the Adepts are still here harassing that natural base, but again, it's so important for MindelVK to be doing this. He has to keep Demi at home, because if there was a counterattack, MindelVK just didn't have a lot to defend. I say didn't because now the first Immortal is out, and now we see a transition into Disruptors. Again, this is a really great, it's really great for Mindel to really respect Demi enough to know when to back off and when to stop committing to nothing but Glaive Adepts. And Disruptors are exactly what you need, especially against Ground Zerg, against whether it's Roaches or even going into Hydras and Lurkers. They can do okay. They're not amazing, but they can do okay in that scenario as well. Meanwhile, Demi is finally regaining control of his side of the map. He's droning up, he's getting fully saturated on 3 bases, and I have to wonder where he goes from here. If you're unfamiliar from Demi, which, again, I wouldn't blame you, he doesn't typically compete at this time zone, he is a player who loves mutas. He loves his Spire play. He's kind of known as the Muta King in Southeast Asia, kind of taken a lot of inspiration from Jim Rising. So are we going to see that? We know that he loves going for that, but at the same time, there's a time and place. So we'll see if he is able to whip that out at some point this series. At the moment, he's still committed to Lingbane Road Ravager, which is a very solid ground composition going into the mid game. Of course, it doesn't have the best longevity, but at the moment, this is exactly what Demi needs. Like, he is perfectly fine with what he is working towards. Meanwhile, Mindel, now he's got his third up and running. Unfortunately for Demi, like, he wasn't able to really deny this or delay this in any way, shape, or form. We have a second Robo on the way for that double Disruptor production. Mindel is moving out a little bit prematurely, though. I'm a little bit surprised. Like, there's no War Prism with this army. His Immortals are looking incredibly exposed. Mate, calm down. Thankfully, he only dips in a little bit. At the same time, we do have the War Prism going into the main base. Oh my god, 6 drones end up going down. More than what really should have gone down. And meanwhile, those two queens that we saw earlier did get sniped in the middle of the map as well. So Demi, he's slipping up here and there. Like, MindelVK is finding that damage. Again, to be fair, it is one of those things where Demi is playing with ping, so you do have to kind of fight your opponent and the game itself at some point. But yeah, Demi has been struggling a little bit when it comes to the defense. But this is what we expected, as in, we now have a Spire. Spire does get thrown down here for Demi. It is on the way. I was just kind of looking for it for a moment. Oh, there it is. Spire is on the way. I believe it's hidden. Quickly checking MindelVK's vision. Yes, it is hidden, so he has no idea about the switch into mutas. This is what I was bringing up earlier in the game, just because Demi is so fond of this. If you're from the region, then you'd be well aware. And as an opponent, you'd be well aware, and you'd kind of have that in the back of your mind and get ready to deal with something like mutas. But at the moment, I imagine MindelVK has never played against Demi, maybe has never even watched Demi play. Meanwhile, the Adepts, move command? Demi, please! Oh my god! If you're wondering why the army was so awkward there, yeah, they were just fumbling around a little bit. 7 more drones go down. Again, Demi, he's responding to all this harassment, but the execution isn't quite there. Also, I do have to quickly check, was the Spire spotted? No, still not spotted. So Demi could maybe make something happen with that. What I will also say is that Demi, he's almost maxed out, mate. It's not the most efficient army. Roach Ravager is a pretty inflated army supply, but still, it's quite beefy, as long as he avoids the disruptor shots. Oh god, the Purification Novas are going to be going off here, and oh my god! So far, so good. Actually, none of them have connected. Oh, but maybe I spoke too soon, as a couple of Ravagers finally go down. But only a couple. Like, again, there's been no big shot, and Demi has been handling this beautifully. Instead of going for a Spire, obviously he could have gone for an Infestation Pit and gone and worked towards Vipers instead, which would have been a much more solid response. This is a little bit more risky. It's a bit of more of a Hail Mary play, just because he doesn't have an easy way to deal with these Disruptors. He just has to wait for the Novas to go on cooldown. Meanwhile, mutas are headed towards the main base, and this has been spotted. The mutas, oh my god! As another Nova goes off, and it does get a juicy connection there with the Banelings and the Ravagers. Pushing up this ramp is not going to happen. Sure, MindelVK has been down in army supply, but he's got cannons, he's got shield batteries, he has overcharge. Pushing into the third is not going to work out for Demi. At the same time, mutas go in, but now we also have stack defense in the main base. We also have Stalkers to chase all this down. The muta play did not really work out at all for Demi. Sure, he picks off a worker, but that's literally one worker. And look at how much gas was invested here. When, remember, this could have been an Infestation Pit. This could have been Vipers. Oh god, and Vipers really would have just shot. Oh my god! Okay, that was an interesting purification. Ever another goes off. It looks almost remember. Oh my god, no, Demi! He wasn't paying attention to his army for a moment there, but I was about to say that MindelVK looked like he was almost about to do purification over his own Stalkers. Thankfully, that did not happen. Oh god. But things are getting worse and worse for Demi, because MindelVK, he's closing that gap in terms of army supply. And that's never a good thing when you're a Zerg player, especially when you're using an inefficient army like this. To be fair, like, Demi still has one big fight in him, and he can still take an incredible engagement. It's just, as we've seen this entire time, it's so difficult for him to push into these Disruptors. Every single time a Nova goes off, and every single time Demi has to respect that, as we can see here. And there are just so many Disruptors that MindelVK should always at least have one available to him. Oh god, as Demi is trying to pounce in. At the same time, the mutas zip in, and a couple more workers are going down. Finally, these mutas are starting to pay for themselves, and the entire army of MindelVK is forced all the way back home. This is beautiful. This is what Demi needed, and now he has the breathing room he needs to expand, get more bases, get more upgrades. As we can see, 2-2 is on the way. Not 2 carapace, but you don't really need 2 carapace in this matchup, so it's fine, don't worry about it. And now Demi has the map control. He still has to be careful. Mate, you still gotta respect those Disruptors. He's gonna try and dive on top of them, but oh my god, no! Another Nova goes off. Oh my god, how many Banelings just went down? Lings finally closed the distance, and Funada MindelVK, because he did kind of leave his Disruptors exposed, but even so, he keeps them all alive. What? 0 Disruptors have died this game. 0! That's insane, mate. Oh my god. Ay. Meanwhile, the Stalkers are trying to push into the pure Roach Ravager army. More mutas are on the way. Demi is so set on muta, like Lingbane Roach Ravager muta. Like, I don't know. I'm not convinced. Maybe he can overwhelm this. Like, Stalkers aren't the best unit against mutas. You know, Archons are, but they're still pretty good nonetheless. Meanwhile, here we go. Finally, the Disruptors are getting caught out. Finally, the Lingbane is closing distance and diving on top of them, especially with that +1 upgrade. 3-4 of them go down, but it's still not enough to break through and really, oh my god, and really catch the Protoss player and overwhelm him. Meanwhile, the upgrades are about to finish up. Meanwhile, Demi, mate, you're playing with fire right now. You gotta back off. Oh my god. I'm so nervous every time. Like, these Novas are insane, and they just keep getting damage. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have a bit of a Zealot run by. It looks like it will not deny this base. Another Nova goes off. Oh, only on a single Ravager. But again, Demi is not really paying attention. The goal base will go down. Thankfully, for the most part, it has already been mined out, so it didn't really matter. Demi, he was more than willing to give that base up, but he can't afford to lose this fresh base here, this fresh 5th base. Meanwhile, the blink forward into Banelings. MindelVK, please. but it looks like it may not even matter. Sure, it was maybe a questionable move with that blink, but he still had more than enough to just power through everything that Demi has. What does Demi have left? He has a giant flock of mutas. Oh my god, how many mutas is that? 34 mutas. That's an apocalypse of mutas, and is that enough to just power through all of these stalkers? It looks like it is. Again, Archons are really what you want, and finally, Demi will take a beautiful fight here. He cleans up almost all the disruptors, forces a recall, but he lost the hatchery. Oh my god, he loses two! Two hatcheries go down. Ay, Demi, please. It's one of those things where Demi has a very, very scary mutaflock, but his gas bank is non-existent. He is starving right now. He needs bases more than anything. But with the amount of mutas that he has, he can one-shot anything. Doesn't matter what you have. Things are gonna die. And Demi, he's looking to deal some damage. He's looking to make these mutas pay for themselves. Oh, has to be careful. He does lose a couple to these stalkers, but maybe he can just take a fight. Oh my god, stalkers left and right are going down. There's just not enough to deal with these mutas. We see 3 Stargates on the way for Phoenixes, when honestly I feel like Archons may have been, I mean, they're both an answer to mutas, I guess, but the problem is that they're not ready. They're not ready yet at all. Jesus, essentially half of the stalker count gets picked off. More mutas are on the way. We do even have a couple of reinforcing lings, roaches, and ravagers. Finally, Demi, he's starting to resaturate these lost bases from earlier. And again, there's still just so much potential in these mutas. They call me the Muta King for a reason. There we go. Nitrosis Pylon. All these cannons get depowered. We see another blink forward, but again, I just don't feel like the Stalkers are enough. But the Archons will be. Now you have to respect the Archons. Demi can't push into the 3rd, but he can take the 4th. Not just the 4th, also 16 probes. Ay. Demi. He was on the back foot for a lot of this game. But something that I was trying to mention earlier, but I kind of got interrupted because of all these mutas, is that MindelVK, he was stuck with Stalker Disruptor for a long time, when he had, honestly, the freedom to tech up earlier, much earlier, and he was just tunnel visioning a little bit too much on maxing out with Stalkers and Disruptors. And to be fair, against a ground army, that was working great, but against Mass Muta, we can see that was not, as all these Stargates are being picked off. They're all being depowered. Sure, there are a couple of these Phoenixes, but they don't have Anion Pulse Crystals, and they're just not enough to be a real threat to these mutas. The lings are all flooding in. Again, MindelVK is being torn apart right now. Ay, and even Demi targeting down every single one of these Stargates. No more Phoenixes are going to be coming out. Only Archons, only Stalkers, and they are not the most maneuverable units. Oh my god, and it looks like Demi's done it. He focused down every single thing that shoots up. There's only a single Phoenix left. We do have another warp in of Stalkers, but there we go. We do see them targeted down as well. Mindel had such a great mid-game. Let's be real, let's be honest. But as the game went on, GG gets called and Demi fights back. Demi takes game 1. Damn. GG, well played. And with that GG and with that well played, I now kind of pose the question to the abyss, to the t-shirt, if you will. Are we back? Do I have a co-caster?
I just want to say, somebody left me in dead silence for the past half an hour.
You said
no idea what's happening.
You told me to solo cast the first game. What are you talking about?
Normally you unmute so I know what's going on.
I don't want to distract you from what you're doing.
God damn it. Like, I don't even know what match we're casting. I had to open the stream to find out who we're casting.
Oh my god, I just sent you an inviting game. Oh god. But yes, welcome everyone to the infamous casting jersey. Welcome 16 Squad Senseki, aka Kuro.
Hello there.
Hello.
Ay. Yes, ay. That's all I have to say. So where are we? Somebody catch me up.
Ay, indeed. I mean, we had a pretty interesting ZvP. Honestly, Demi was having a hard time until he got his mutas out.
I guess the rest of the world doesn't know Demi's mutas. Huh?
Yeah, I was saying the same thing.
I mean, we are prepared for this.
We are. And speaking of being prepared, are you prepared, Kuro, to introduce our first player? So welcome, guys. Hello there. Long time no see, long time no hear.
we are on Hardwire LE. That almost rhymed. And we have red versus orange on Hardwire. And in the bottom left corner, we have the red Zerg representing Alpha X and India. It is the Demi Shark.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Russian Protoss player. He is orange, representing Team Hasu. It is MindelVK.
So, all I managed to hear from the stream was Disruptors, oh, Novas. But that's all I know. Somebody catch me up.
Yes. I mean, so it was a game where MindelVK opened up with Glaive Adepts. You opened up with Glaive Adepts. Went across the map, did some decent damage, and from that he did transition into Immortals and double Robo Disruptor production. Against Demi, who was going Lingbane Roach Ravager. And what's interesting is that MindelVK didn't stop until he had like 8 or 9 Disruptors. It was insane. And Demi just couldn't fight. He just couldn't fight the ground army. And he just kept taking Novas to the face left and right. Until finally he had one really big good engagement, and at the same time he was slowly taking up and amassing a massive Muta army.
Sounds like Demi.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll see if a similar scenario comes in this game.
It was very much so a moment where like MindelVK, oh my god, he's crushing the ground army, he's pushing forward, he's killing 2 bases, but oh no, he doesn't know that there's like there's a swarm of mutas amassing in the bottom right, and they're coming out, and then suddenly there was an apocalypse of mutas, and then everything was going down, and honestly though, I was afraid for Demi. Like it wasn't a one-sided game.
Yeah. I mean, mutas are also very squishy units, so if Mindel did have some anti-air defense, like that could not go very well.
Definitely. Also, I did want to give a bit of a shout out to Logic in the chat. I don't know what the hell you're doing awake right now, because I know you're from Australia, but mate, it is 3:30 a.m. in the morning. What the hell, man?
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm casting though. I mean, that's different. That's oh god.
Well, looks like we have a Twilight Council, so maybe Glaives again?
Yeah, this is where we start to question the more amateur players here, right? Because Demi, he's an established pro player from Southeast Asia, and Mindel is more of an up-and-coming European. And it comes down to, sometimes it can come down to some of these lower league players are a lot more comfortable with, you know, one style, maybe 2. And this is where I'm a little bit worried if he goes for Glaive Adept again 2 games in a row. But that's why I am pleasantly surprised that he is going for something else entirely.
Yeah, I guess after all these mutas, he decided, you know what, Stalkers. No more of these adepts, just going Stalkers with Blink.
Yeah. And fun fact, this is how Stardock actually beat Demi a couple of weeks ago in GPO. He just like went for a big Blink Stalker push, and it was great against roaches, and he just committed and didn't stop. And Demi eventually got into mutas, and they really did struggle against early on like mass Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, like as I said, like mutas are great, but they're very, you know, fragile. So like if you actually like are met with opposition, like it becomes very hard to get any damage with them.
Definitely. Speaking of getting damage done, Demi at the moment, I'm just quickly checking his vision. He hasn't gone into Scout. So what's scary about this is that, again, he knows that it's not a Stargate opening because there's no Void Ray. He does barely not see the Warp Prism. Oh my god, he does. He doesn't see it at all. Wow. But even if he did, this could still look like Glaive Adepts.
It definitely could. Like, I guess Adepts are more than what you expect in Starkers. Starkers are not as common in ZvP, I think. But yeah, I guess that's what Minda is gonna try. That said, Demi is going for upgrades for his melee, so for his links, which should do fairly well against Stalkers if they're in position.
Oh yeah. Mass Ling is great against Blink Stalkers. Blink Stalkers, their rate of fire is quite low, and they're great against Roaches, but not so much Lings. So Demi kind of blindly assuming what is coming his way and kind of having a good answer to it. But in come the Blink Stalkers, by the way, there are 6 gates behind this. Nice transfuse. Queen finally goes down, but again, Demi is buying a lot of time for those Lings.
Yeah, 20 more Lings in production, but this is a small army. The Stalkers are still standing.
Yeah, exactly. Demi, he droned up so much. He went all the way up to 60 drones, when typically you want to stop at around 40 when a 2-base push is coming your way. And this has to deal with the fact that Demi just never scouted the main base. He never saw this coming.
And GG is cold. Just like that.
GG. Oh god, I was hoping maybe Demi would just like give up the 3rd base and like maybe try and amass Lings, but yeah, he he was being very greedy and was also very blind.
I mean he did like look for the 3rd base, so there was that. But he didn't actually know what was coming.
Yeah, I'm sure he assumed that it was going to be Glaive Adepts again, but even if it was Glaive Adepts, like again, Demi had 60 drones. That's a lot. That's greedy.
Yeah, like 10 Lings. That does not sound like a very, solid defense.
Yeah. So
although I will give it to Demi. Demi is the one player that I've seen defend like early pulls with drones only, like successfully.
Yeah.
So, I believe in his defense, but maybe not this much.
Yeah, like he can do a lot with a little. We have seen before, Demi. He's a great player, but sometimes, I say sometimes, he's also a very risky player, an incredibly risky player. As we saw.
He's not Miyumika level risky. But...
well, there's a difference between risky and just having lost your mind, right? Like this, it's not the same.
By the way, I like that we're continuing with the colors. At least that's not a mirror matchup.
Thank God. Meanwhile, Logic in the chat, I've always loathed the necessity of sleep. Like death, it puts even the most powerful men on their backs. Yeah,
where's it from?
Sleep is nice though. It's good. You could go to bed, and whenever you do go to bed, you can also use our lovely emote.
I mean, you could.
Go for it.
But, meanwhile, we have this player, the Red Zerg, who did not go to bed, apparently. Or maybe he woke up this early, who knows. Representing Alpha X and India, it is Demi.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Russian Protoss player. He is orange, representing Team Hazel and tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is MindelVK.
What time is it in India?
I believe he's like 2 hours behind me, so I think it's like almost 2 a.m. where he is, maybe. So it's not.
That's reasonable time to play, I guess.
Yeah, he's not
late, but reasonable.
He's not as degen as Starduck.
I mean, that's a very, high level.
That's the epitome of degen. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean,
it's not easy to be more degen than him.
Yeah. I know there are people wondering in the chat, like Ranger or Logic or even ARJ Skater. I can confirm, yes, at the moment Starduck is on the European server, and yes, he is playing Kerrigan Survival too.
Yes, he's playing custom lobbies of Kerrigan Survival. And then he said that after that he will take a nap and then play more Kerrigan Survival. So this kid.
Yeah, look, we know he has a problem. He has a problem. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do about it, guys. We need your help. We need an intervention. The community needs to come together. We need to sit Starduck down and we need to talk to him about his future, okay? Because he's saying nothing but Kerrigan Survival too. I don't know what to do anymore.
I'm not sure he's eating anymore.
He's not eating. He's not sleeping. He's not getting any sun.
I mean, what's he getting in the sun in the first place?
I'd like to, back in the day he used the ladder. That was all the sun he needed. Oh god.
But hey, we have different build this time. We get the Stargate.
Oh, yeah, I love this. MindelVK, he's been mixing things up this series. Game 1, 6-gate Glaive Adepts. Game 2, 6-gate Blink Stalkers. And now Game 3, with a Stargate.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the Blink Stalkers, I don't say they will only work once, but like they were specifically against Demi, I feel like, because of the mutas. So I guess he wants to mix it up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's something important just about a best of series is that you want to stay unpredictable, right? You want to try and keep your opponent on their toes and force them to keep like guessing, right? Once again, here we go. This is the big difference. Demi is actually going to scout. he's actually sending his overlord in.
Yeah, and that overlord is gonna be chilling there for a while because it's Oracle first.
There you go. There you go. Beautiful, mate. He gets in. He's going to be able to scout. Does confirm that it is a Stargate opening. And now, as a result, he should be getting spores ready. He should be getting in position to make sure this Oracle doesn't deal any damage.
Yeah, in the meantime, the Adepts are teasing around the bases, but no damage so far.
Yeah, just looking to find any damage if he could, if there were any unattended mineral lines or anything like that. Meanwhile, oh, Demi should actually see. He does see that a second Oracle is on the way.
Yeah, interesting. Do you think it's just gonna be like double Oracle, or do you think we're gonna see something more crazy?
I mean, usually if you see 2, you may as well get 3.
I mean, yeah, but you may as well get 7, you know? Like, we've seen that before.
True. So we'll see where he stops. At the moment, he just has 2 oracles. The interesting thing is that he opted not to get a Void Ray, which is interesting, right? Like, Void Rays provide so much utility in current meta, and he just avoided it completely.
Yeah. And, like, typically you use the Void Rays to clear overloads, right? So... I guess maybe, you know, the overload is already there, so who cares?
Oh god,
the space!
The surround. Oh, that was a cancel just barely in time, but this is typically why you get 2 oracles like this, and when you're getting a third base, you keep at least 1 at home, or this is why you go 3 oracles. You keep 1 at home and the other 2 go across to harass. But yeah, Demi took that opportunity to force a cancel at the 3rd.
Yeah, a very close one as well, and he's going into roaches this time.
Uh-oh, he's pulling a Ryu.
What does that mean? I'm scared.
I don't know if this is intentional. Ryu did this a couple of weeks ago and died horribly, where you go double Roach Warren for double upgrades. We'll see if that happens. Meanwhile, there's no Spore, and so many drones are going down.
Yeah, the Queens are dealing with the Oracles, but before they can do that, like 13 drones are already down. And even more on the other side.
And this is unacceptable damage. Demi saw the second Oracle with his Overlord, and even with his Lings earlier, he confirmed it, and he still decided not to get a Spore in his main base. He was being greedy, and as a result, 14 workers went down.
Yeah, he thought those Queens were enough, but they were just not fast enough. And in the meantime, we got the Dark Shine.
Yeah.
We're switching back to ground.
When you're ahead, get further ahead. I mean, anytime Dark Shrine is, I think, what you said once.
Yeah. I mean, I got it from Dana.
There you go. But, yeah, because of that, like, MindelVK is just going to keep Demi guessing, keep him on the back foot. It's a little bit risky to go for DTs right now because he forced Spores in all the bases already. But he can always morph them into Archons, right?
I mean, you say that, but he was in the main and he specifically saw no Spores.
True.
Just saying.
True.
There is one now, but... But yeah, I guess DTs won't be great as harass. I don't know what else you can use them for. Maybe for defense?
Yeah, it depends, because if you have enough...
Archon.
Yeah, and if you have enough DTs, like, you can kill a Spore anyway. Like, 1 Spore is not going to be enough. But what I also love is that MindelVK, he saw that Demi threw down 2 Roach Warrens, and he's going to help him out and throw down 2 Templar Archives. Beautiful. You know, it's making things even. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, God. There we go. Storm is...
It's a backup.
Yeah.
It's a backup, you know. One gets killed because it's in the front, like you have the other one, right?
Yeah. Then why not just have it in the back?
Look. It's a bait. Like your opponent, gets in, they kill the Templar archives. They're like, haha, I killed the Templar archives, and there's a second one. Ah, there you go.
Shaking my head. Meanwhile, we do see that Mindel is diversifying his AoE. He doesn't just have Archons, he's working on Storm. Not just that, he has double robot production to get into double disruptors, or even Colossus as well to help deal with all the light armored units. Speaking of light armored units, that's exactly what Demi is going for, as he is looking to get into Hydras, and I imagine Lurkers, and eventually Vipers.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, there could always be infestors, you know.
He also got 2 infestors. He's making 2 of everything. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You make 2 Hydra Dentists as well? Like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, that would actually make sense.
Oh,
Some people do that. Miyamika mostly.
Miyamika does that, but...
But he does it, like, consistently.
Yeah, like, I can understand. I'm sure, again, I mentioned this earlier, Demi's probably playing with 250 pings, so because that sometimes inputs don't register, so sometimes you do things twice, like, it happens. So he does finally get his hive, he's working on those Vipers, so he's going for the ultimate anti-ground toss army. DT rocks up, DT dies.
It was sneaking so well, and then it wasn't.
Oh, this one though, there's no detection. Keep going, puppy. Keep going.
Yeah, the overseer is about to be morphed, so I guess it wasn't worth it.
I mean, he could have killed maybe 1 or 2 more drones.
Maybe 1 or 2, yeah. But the one in the main was like underwhelming. It was sneaking so well, and then it just went into the queen range. It was like, okay.
And Demi knows that he's not going to rely on just his reaction time. He's throwing down spines at every single base to make sure that DTs are never going to be a problem again. And this is now where I start to worry for MindelVK, because he's going for ground toss, and ground toss is okay, but it does struggle against what Demi's going for. Like, there's a reason why sky toss is so meta. Going for ground toss to start with is fine, but eventually you want to transition into Stargates.
I think, did this High Templar die?
Yes, it stormed itself as it was dying to deal some damage.
A minute of silence, please, for the brave warrior.
Oh god. So yeah, one High Templar already goes down, and that's devastating because High Templar are going to be so important right now, not just for storms, but also to feed back these Vipers. Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. Those Vipers will be very useful, but the armies are completely missing each other.
Are we gonna turn around? No, he doesn't. It's a little bit too late. He's committing to a base trade.
Yeah, he turned out for a second, but then he was like, you know what? Nope.
Yep. Nope, this is happening. We have Zealous trying to hit the natural base, but there's a wall of spines here already. Meanwhile, the 4th base is falling as well due to all these Immortals and Archons. And to be fair, there's always an opportunity for Mindel to recall if he needs to.
Indeed, and Immortals are doing a good job against buildings, so they may actually be fast enough to kill Demi's bases before he deals with all these Protoss.
Yeah, it's really weird. Despite the fact that Demi hit first, he's only just now killing the natural base. Meanwhile, MindelVK, he just killed 2 hatcheries, and he's going to keep going. He's going to break into the natural, and all the spines are already dead.
Yeah, like, the Zealots dealt with the spines, and now there's nothing to contest these Immortals. There are a few Hydras transforming into Lurkers now, but are they gonna be enough?
Yeah, Demi, he realizes he cannot win the base trade. He turns around, he's coming all the way back home. Meanwhile, these Lurkers, they need to finish on the high ground. Oh god, we have Lurkers coming in from behind as well, forcing the army up the ramp. Oh, can they finish?
Yeah.
Oh. Burrow, puppy, burrow!
Hey, they survived.
There's no detection.
Recall now.
he could recall.
All the Immortals get pulled into the army.
Yeah, the yoinks come in. There were 0 feedbacks. The storms are doing an insane amount of damage on these roaches, but it's still not going to be enough. There's almost nothing left here. Demi cleans up the army, but he did lose 3 bases.
He did. There was a like this Protoss army was going just uncontested, but yeah, I feel like the recall was a little late. I feel like he could save more of his army there.
Yeah. I'm sure that he could have, like, especially because he did know that Demi was coming back home. I'm sure he wanted to get a little bit more done, but the only thing that he did was he killed the Lurker Cavern, the Lurker Den, which was nice. But that's kind of it. He lost a lot for that. And now he's all the way back home. But again, he has 3 bases up and running and mining. Like, his economy's still okay.
Yeah, like Mindel actually didn't lose all that much, like, in this attack, because he crashed a few of Demi's bases, and then Demi had to turn back. So
Oh god, no!
these Vipers.
Oh, one Viper goes down for free, and I was about to say that Mindel has an amazing economy. He has such a massive economic advantage, but his army it's non-existent. He needs time to make an army. He's trying to pump out carriers right now in Void Race. He's going into Skytoss. Uh-oh, what shoots up? There's only a handful of Hydras.
There's a set of Hydras, but there's also Vipers, which are dealing quite some damage with those parasitic bombs.
Mate, all the Hydras are dying. All the Hydras are dying. Not enough shoots up. Lurkers do nothing, and the Vipers are out of energy.
The Vipers are left alone.
Oh god, the Vipers are going down left and right. The Lurkers are left on their own as well. MindelVK, he shouldn't be turning around right now. He needs to go. He needs to go and stop this, because Demi double expanded after he suffered these losses. Like, he desperately needs these bases to get up and running, and Mindel has maybe an opportunity to deny them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing, like, Mindel is trying to build up an army, but so is Demi, and as we know, Zerg generally maxes faster than Protoss.
Yeah, but again, like,
nice
it's a nice run by. The War Prison does get taken out, but the Zealots do force everything back home. I hope that Mindel realizes and recognizes the lack of Hydras. Like, there's only a handful of them. Like, Hydras are very gas-intensive units, and Demi just is barely pumping them out. The longer this goes on, I kind of want to say it's a little bit better for Demi, but it's also better for Mindel. It's just a weird position to be in.
I feel like in the long run it may be better for Demi, just because like Mindel is like this Zealot Heralds was all like map control he had. Like, he's just sitting in his own base, like kind of turtling, right?
Yeah, but so is Demi. Like, I still feel like the army of Mindel is a little bit superior. We have a Zealot run by. Oh, this is rough. Demi does not have enough supply to split up, so he will lose this base. And Hydra Lurker is okay, but there are no Vipers. There's no Parasitic Bomb, there's no Yoinks, there's nothing, and Storm is blanketing everything.
Yeah, no, it's just the Queens against the Skytos, and I'm not sure there's enough of them, even with the Transfuse.
Yeah, all the Hydras go down. The Queens are doing a good job, but do you notice anything? The Queens are out of energy. They no longer have any Transfuses. It's not going to be enough. And Mindel, he's going to be able to hold here. Like, Demi can't break this.
GG is cold.
GG, well played. Congratulations, Mindel. He takes down the best player in all of India.
Also, I just want to point out, user logic said he should change his name to Noah. Two of everything. Get it?
Oh god. Oh no.
No.
Awful, mate. Awful.